We are following breaking news out of Washington, D.C. this morning. Just after our 11-hour time, the U.S. government officially shut down. Thank you for streaming with us here on KARE 11 Plus. Time now 7 o'clock. I'm Jason Hackett alongside Lauren Lemanchek.
Yeah, we'll have team coverage for you in just a few minutes on the shutdown. But first, let's send things out to John Ziegler with your October 1st forecast.
What a forecast it is. It looks great here in the backyard. Looks like you're ready to go to the pumpkin patch, apple orchard, whatever you're doing. This weekend's gonna be hot. If you're going Saturday, I know this is a very popular weekend to get places like a pumpkin patches and stuff like that. It's gonna be warm. I mean, it's gonna be downright hot. It'll be breezy, that's for sure. But looking at this weekend, again, this is a weekend. Hey, I'm gonna be up here. I'm gonna be up north of Brainerd this weekend for the fall foliage. It looks good. It's gonna look the part. It's not gonna feel like it. Like I said, Saturday's hot, so we're golfing. Why not? We're gonna do summer things. Because it's been that year. The grass is greener, everything's still lush. The leaves are probably 10 days behind schedule. So you even have another weekend where you'd probably be able to get up there and see the fall foliage. Still waiting for Carver County to go to 10%. How about that? Now, I live in Carver County, and yeah, I would say everything's still green. Everything's still green here in Golden Valley. Warmest September on record? No, that was last year. Hard to believe that we were way behind last year, 70 degrees. And that is because we started off the month very chilly. It's hard to remember that, but we started off the month in the 40s. We had a day in the 50s for highs across the area when the average high at that time was about 80 degrees. So no, we only ended up at 9th warmest, which I actually was surprised with, but good reminder sometimes to go back and look at it. Yes, so it is still warm. Has the sun risen yet? No, sun's not up. Technically for 9 more minutes. 66 degrees, southeast winds at around 5 miles per hour. The breeze is going to pick up throughout the week. It has to if you're going to warm up. Cloudy skies right now are giving way to maybe partly cloudy skies up there. But with that cloud cover, temperatures are held up a little bit. We're in the 60s. Going into the 80s today, 80, 81, southeast winds, of course, are going to be breezy here as we start to see the temperature climb. Again, sun is weaker. The sun is a lot weaker now than it was even a month ago. So in let's say the first day of September, and we have a calm, high-pressure sunshine, you're going to be at 80. If we had that same setup today, we'd be at 70, maybe 68. Same exact high, and that is because of the strength of the sun is weak. So how are you going to warm to 90? You have to drive it in. You have to bring it in with the south wind. So today, the wind starts to pick up. Tomorrow, it's there. What about rain chances? They look kind of low. Sunday, Monday, we're going to be looking at about a 20-30% chance for rain. So this cold front, I'm not going to call it a dry front, because I do think that northern Minnesota has a chance for a ½ inch. We'll have a chance for rain, but it's staying a chance. We're not talking about immediate threats. Would I change my plans Sunday, Monday, Tuesday? Absolutely not. In fact, I cannot wait, actually. Honestly, I'm very excited for Tuesday, Wednesday next week to have some mornings in the 40s. I might actually have to wear a coat by next Tuesday, Wednesday, and fall will show up by the middle of next week.
Good morning, 7:03. All right, what's happening around the metro as you get ready to head out the door? Well, one thing that I've been tracking for a little bit here is a crash on 169 northbound near Old Shakopee Road. This is as you're going toward 494. There was a vehicle blocking the center lane, so it's causing this backup here. And right now, that backup is going all the way past Highway 13. So folks are sitting in traffic for a good amount of time this morning. So say you're coming up to the cities from Jordan and you're trying to get on 169. I was telling people for a minute there you could hop off on Highway 13, but now since that backup passes that, it would be quicker if you hopped off Highway 140th Street to 35W to then try to get to 494. But again, that situation hasn't cleared up yet, so that backup is going to continue to get worse. So I'll let you know when that clears up and when you can take 169 again without having any significant delays. Other areas where I'm seeing slowing, 694 between the Fridley area and almost to New Brighton at this point, going on 694 westbound. Other than that, the 694-494 loop looks pretty good this morning. Coming in from Rogers, you're going to have a slow commute into the Maple Grove area, but otherwise things are pretty quiet right now. Jason.
That is certainly good to hear. Cece, thank you very much. Let's turn back to our breaking news. Live in our nation's capital, where the U.S. government is shut down this morning. That shutdown went into effect at 11 o'clock our time when lawmakers failed to pass a spending bill. It's the first government shutdown in more than 6 years. So we have a lot to get to this morning, including how the shutdown will affect you at home.
Now we have team coverage. Audrey Russo's at MSP with a look at travel and other impacts. But first, Michelle Beck's at the live desk tracking overnight developments.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Ever since a minute after midnight DC time, the government's been out of money, and you can see the pivotal moment leading up to the shutdown right here.
The 60-vote threshold having not been achieved, the bill upon reconsideration is not passed.
So that was Congress failing to pass a bill to keep federal dollars flowing. This is the first government shutdown in nearly 7 years, and we don't know how long it will last. Democrats are holding back their votes to demand negotiation. They want money for health care subsidies, which are expiring for millions of Americans under Obamacare. Republicans say those discussions can wait.
I simply don't understand why, when behind closed doors, our Republican colleagues say, we know this is bad, we know where our farmers are, we know the tariffs are bad, we know that is bad. They keep saying it, but then they go out there and do exactly what Donald Trump wants.
Far left interest groups and far left Democrat members wanted a showdown with the president. And so Senate Democrats have sacrificed the American people to Democrats' partisan interests. I hope it will be some comfort for Americans dealing with shuttered government services to know that MoveOn.org and other far-left organizations are happy with this vote.
Yeah, so that was the Senate Majority Leader who went on to say the government can reopen as soon as today, but only if Democrats will vote with Republicans. But guys, definitely unclear what opinions or negotiating strategies will have changed overnight. We're also waiting for President Trump to weigh in here. I haven't seen anything from him on Truth Social all morning long ever since that midnight shutdown. Lauren.
All right, thank you, Michelle. And we are keeping an eye on the market this morning. Futures reacting to the news of the government shutdown. You can see all are in the red right now. The Dow is down 140 points. Now, interestingly enough, the stock market actually usually gains during government shutdowns, but investors are watching closely the current labor markets and inflation. Many essential services will continue during a government shutdown, including military operations, air traffic control services, and immigration and customs enforcement.
However, pay for those workers may be delayed. Audrey Russo's at MSP Airport now with a closer look at the overall impact.
Good morning. Yeah, that's right. MSP has a lot of federal workers. Now, we reached out to MSP officials and they confirmed to us that those essential workers, we're talking about TSA, air traffic control, customs, they are all here this morning. But the question arises, how long will these workers continue to show up without pay? Now, we learned the hard way here in early 2019. You're looking at video of the government shutdown that happened for around a month during that time. Sick calls from air traffic controllers led to delays in major U.S. airports. Staffing issues among these workers and TSA employees were credited with ending that shutdown by early 2019. As for other parts of the government that could be affected, the Department of Transportation also says some hiring and training will stop. And you may have some concerns as you're traveling, approaching cold and flu season about health and health concerns, different viruses. Well, the CDC could also be affected by some of these shutdowns. I've got more on that coming up in about 30 minutes, but for now, I'll send things back to you.
Audrey, thank you. A heads up for drivers this morning. Today is the first day the city of Minneapolis has its new speed cameras up and running. Take a look at this map here. These are the 5 locations where those cameras are. They include 3rd Street near 1st Avenue and Nicollet Avenue near 46th Street. These are areas the city says have had issues with speeding and are within 2,000 feet of a school. So for the first month, only warnings will be issued, no tickets. And then after that, a first violation will be a warning. Then it's a $40 ticket for driving 10 miles over the speed limit, double that for more than 20 over. Violations will not go on a driver's record, and the city says it plans to add even more cameras next year.
Well, now to a disturbing and downright shocking story. Police say a person in their 20s was pretending to be a student at White Bear Lake High School. The district says this person used fake documentation and a false identity to enroll. Raya Katane talked to students and parents who say they know him.
Word travels fast on a high school campus.
It was just really awful to hear about.
And White Bear Lake High School is no exception.
How can this happen?
As students learn that one of their peers this school year was an adult posing as a teenager.
I am still at shock, and I know my peers are in shock.
When I found out, I was really shocked. I was like, you've been with all these girls, like talking to them, having them on Snapchat, and you're 22 in a high school. That's just like so disgusting to me.
According to the district, the person is older than 21 and enrolled in the school using fraudulent documents and a fake identity. The district and White Bear Lake Police have not released the person's identity, but some students say he was a well-known figure at the school and even played on the football team, allegedly posing as a 17-year-old.
So that's like 50 kids on the football team that you just were showering next to, minors.
In an email to families, Principal Russ Reed says the person is now in police custody and not allowed on district property. But Connor Tran, who's a junior and his class officer, says questions loom of how this person could have slipped through the system.
Will this happen again, and how can you take steps to prevent that?
The district says its enrollment process is as rigorous as state law allows, and appropriate steps are taken anytime there is a potential threat to student safety.
White Bear Lake High School had its homecoming dance this past weekend, and students tell us this person was in attendance.
Well, a story that's continuing to trend this morning, Lynx superstar Napheesa Collier's strong words for WNBA's leadership, officiating, and culture.
We have the best players in the world. We have the best fans in the world. But right now, we have the worst leadership in the world. They ignore the issues that everyone inside the game is begging to be fixed. That is negligence. I sat across from Kathy and asked how she planned to address the officiating issues in our league. Her response was, well, only the losers complain about the refs.
Yeah, Big Fee certainly had time today. So in response to Collier, WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert said she is disheartened by how she characterized the conversations, going on to say, quote, my commitment to the players and to this work will not waver. But man, oh man, this had the internet on fire yesterday, and I did not see one comment that was like, man, Napheesa did the wrong thing, or I don't agree. Everybody was it was almost universal.
Yeah, and all the big stars, almost, you pointed out, with the exception of Caitlin Clark, most of the big stars came out in support of her. So it's hard to see how Kathy Engelbert actually survives this.
Yeah.
When the top players in the league. Yeah.
It's going to be tough. I mean, I think Caitlin speaking up would be the final crack that breaks the dam, so to speak, because her voice carries a lot of weight. She is considered the WNBA's most popular player, but we'll see if she speaks up. She has also business interests to protect, so you never know.
Absolutely, we will see. Okay, also trending this morning, the thrill is back. The Wild made Kirill Kaprizov a very, very rich man. The richest the NHL has ever seen. He signed an 8-year, $136 million deal. That's an average annual value of $17 million.
I'm so happy to stay 9 more years here, and it's like I say before, it's my second home. I'm happy to play here.
And that's what we love to hear, somebody that wants to stay, wants to play for our team, wants to be a part of Minnesota. So that's great to see.
Yeah, 28 years old, so he's got 9 years to go now under contract with Minnesota, probably his last contract. He'll retire a Wild.
Yeah. I'm curious, though, to see what this means for the rest of the roster. Like, are they going to be able to afford other players if they're putting so much into Kirill? I need a hockey expert or a Wild expert to break that down for me, because I'm not exactly sure. But I'm happy he's getting paid.
Yeah, love to see people get paid. Nate was giving us a little bit of info, our camera man here. But let's take a look outside this morning. Record-breaking heat on the way you see it, and the sun is coming out this morning. It's going to start getting steamy today. It's just going to get hotter and hotter and hotter, John.
I hope we break records. Maybe.
Records are fun.
You got to put the maybe on the way. That's the meteorology term. No, it's possible. Keith Marler, I know at Channel 9, he's part of my upbringing, always told me when I was growing up, don't forecast a record. So I actually am not here, and the reason saying that is because, hey, it's hard to break records. I always remember that from Keith. Big shout out to that man. 6 to 10 days, next 6 to 10 days, it's going to be warm. It's still going to be warm, but you're going to notice some cracks starting to show up here because we've been way above average, right? 90 degrees, 90, okay, if we hit 90 or 89 or whatever we hit, you're talking about 25 to 30 degrees above average. So even if we're above average, what does that mean? Well, if we're slightly closer to normal, let's say, in 10 days, you know what the average high is? It's 60. So 65 is going to be above average, and that's where I think we ride for a little while. I've tried to forecast the month of October. A lot of people ask me long range, and I'm not a huge believer in long range, but the best guess that I have for October is a lot of 70s and a lot of 60s. That is what I think. I don't see a lot of 40s and 50s, which can happen. So I do think it'll be above average. Now, precip has come down as we're supposed to be normal, and that's because this Sunday, Monday, Tuesday event is probably not going to work out to a bunch of rain. Temperatures yesterday, 84 still. We snuck out 84. How remarkable is that? We're starting to see some peaking going on here in Grand Rapids at Thief River Falls, but for the 1st of October, you would expect more. And that means that this weekend's great. It also means next weekend is great for fall foliage. Areas around the metro, we got time. We barely changed over. Carver County still at 10%. And, excuse me, a little hiccup there. You could see the warmest September on record was last year, and we were in the 9th warmest this year. I was actually surprised. I was like, really? After all these warm days? It wasn't that warm. 66 degrees. Well, 9th warmest is obviously warm, but you know you're going to be in the top 40 just by being warmer than average. So cloudy skies are leaving. I'm looking up. Looks like it's probably go partly to mostly cloudy right now. And you can see that rain chances are staying over towards Fargo. We should miss that. So we're starting off in the 60s. Really perfect out here. I mean, it is amazing. Come outside, enjoy the morning, go for a walk. We'll warm up back into the 80s. Now, one thing I don't mind about this time of the year is you start cooling down at 5:30, 6 o'clock, because the sun now sets at 6:50, so you cool down faster. So it's not going to be quite as warm in the evening hours. So I'm hoping we can still cool down to 64 Thursday if we can stay clear. But then the winds kick up. Your lows, very warm Saturday, 70 degrees. Might have to move up Sunday's morning low as well. Now the front's going to come through Sunday afternoon. If it comes through at like 4 p.m., let's say, you're going to be at 84 degrees for a high Sunday. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that. If the front comes through at 10 a.m., then your high will be 72 or something like that. So I'm playing the middle game, but I do think we need to watch Sunday closely because we know the front's expected at some point that day. But that day, temperatures might be warmer for some of you and cooler depending on where you live in the state. Obviously, cooler west. If you live west in Wilmer or something like that, yeah, you're probably not going to be that warm. And it'll be breezy and finally cooler weather next week.
A ban on underground mining near the Boundary Waters about to be reversed? What would that really mean for Minnesota?
This is the right mine for this region.
It'll never happen. This is the fight of our lifetime.
Mining for Truth, a series underway right now on KARE 11 News at 10 and streaming on KARE 11 Plus.
KARE 11 Plus Sunrise is brought to you by Home Furniture.
Right now at Home Furniture, it's the Preferred Customer Event. Get up to an extra 15% off sale prices with instant factory rebates. Find savings throughout the showroom like this leather sofa, now just $12.69. Hurry in, the Preferred Customer Event ends Monday at Home Furniture. It's the National Mattress Sale at Home Sleep Express. Get an extra 15% off sale prices on Luxuria and Thomas Cole Sleep. This Jewel Pillow Top Queen is $849, and this Invigorate Plush Queen is just $594. Only at Home Sleep Express.
Welcome back. Time now 7:20. Yesterday, Governor Walz and DFL leaders released their most detailed proposal yet for a special session to respond to the Annunciation church shooting. They want it to happen this coming Monday, but Republican leaders won't agree to that proposal. Danny Spiewak has a closer look at this latest twist.
For the first time since the Annunciation church shooting, Governor Walz and DFL leaders released their proposal for a special session. The plan lists an assault weapons and high-capacity magazine ban as the #1 priority bill, while also including ideas that Republicans might support, like school safety and mental health funding.
We came to the table in good faith.
House DFL leader Zach Stevenson, Senate Majority Leader Aaron Murphy, and Governor Walz all signed the proposal, but Republican leadership did not. In this divided legislature, no bill can pass without bipartisan support.
We're never going to give up on taking meaningful action to prevent gun violence, and in order to pass anything meaningful, we will need Republican votes.
In the tied House, Republican Speaker Lisa Damuth and Floor Leader Harry Niska made a counter-proposal for a special session focusing on school safety, mental health, and public safety.
Very, very hard topics, but things that have to get done.
But the GOP proposal made no explicit mention of an assault weapons or high-capacity magazine ban that Annunciation families have demanded.
Does your caucus support anything even close to what they're asking for?
I don't think that there are any Republican House votes in favor of those kind of proposals, but it's again, you have to actually have bill language, you have to have hearing.
Representative Niska says he doesn't support even holding a vote on the assault weapons ban.
Other states that have done that are A, tied up in legal challenges, and B, haven't really seen results that would suggest that that's a real solution to the problem.
In the Senate, where the DFL has a 1-vote majority, it's also not clear whether all Democrats would support a ban.
How many members of your caucus would vote yes on an assault weapons ban if it was held tomorrow?
This is a hard vote.
Leader Murphy says she continues to talk with a few of the DFL senators in swing districts that are considered questionable on the ban.
And I'm counting my votes, and I will let you know. But no one has said hell no.
Now, Senate GOP Minority Leader Mark Johnson said a virtual meeting with Governor Walz and other leaders broke down after 10 minutes, but it doesn't seem like any of the legislative leaders have stopped negotiating. Remember, Governor Walz is the only person in the state with the authority to call a special session. Developing now, community members are pushing back on plans to reopen an Appleton prison to serve as an ICE detention center. Officials say the facility could triple immigrant detention capacity here in Minnesota. It closed back in 2010, but has been maintained since. It's the state's only private prison and can house up to 1,600 people. Faith leaders are asking city officials to meet with the community next month about the potential plans, while people who support its reopening say it would revitalize the small western town. The county says it has not been contacted yet by ICE. Well, we're back after this short break.
Here's your KARE 11 local news update.
7:26 here on your Wednesday. This morning, speed cameras are now turned on in Minneapolis. So far, there are just 5 cameras set up. All the locations are within 2,000 feet of a school and have a traffic safety concern. So for the first month, only warnings will be issued, but after that, a first violation will be a warning. The city says it plans to add more cameras next year. John has your forecast coming up next.
Good morning. Got an interesting sunrise here. Sun's coming up. Came up about 15 minutes ago. Now the sunrise is at 7:11 this morning. Clouds are moving to the north. We're going to stay dry here. Rain is going to stay off into the Dakotas. I just don't see a lot of rain here this week. Dry and warm. That is the forecast. 60s to kick off the morning. Here's what today looks like. 66, 80, 81. Southeast winds starting to get a little stronger. That's going to be part of the formula here. Stronger winds. You're going to have stronger winds to warm up to 90 degrees in October. It's not going to be calm and sunny. The sun's not like it was in July, right? You've got to bring up that wind to warm up temperatures. So today we start to see the wind show up out west. It gets middle 80s, starting to get a little more breezy by Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Records right around 90. Can we do it? It's possible. We've only hit 93 times ever in October, so we have a chance here this year. Sunday, the cold front moves through and we'll have a chance for rain, but it looks like a minor chance.
Good morning. We begin today with breaking news, but welcome to you first. I'm Lauren Lemanchik alongside Jason Hackett. Right now, the federal government is shut down after lawmakers missed their midnight deadline.
We have team coverage to walk you through what's happening across the country and also here at home in just a few minutes. But first, let's head outside to meteorologist John Ziegler with a look at your forecast. Already starting out hot. It's going to get hotter, John.
It is. We're just starting things off. It's going to get very, very warm. I've been watching the birds just kind of chirping around, playing in the water. Are they over here still? Where are the birdies? Are they popping around? There they are. You see them right here? Where are they? You can't even see them, can you? Chirp, chirp. Move. Well, there you go. Yeah, they're just kind of hanging out in the water. I don't know. I just love it. The backyard isn't this a gorgeous? We get you to do this shot. This is a nice shot. Beautiful right now. Warm. Does not feel like October. Have not put a coat on now for 3 straight weeks. I think that's remarkable. That's just, I mean, we're talking about morning temperatures here. You could have a day at 75 and have a morning at 40, but we haven't even had that. Temperatures at 66. This is the average high for this time of the year. We're hitting it in the morning, so only one way to go from here, and that's up. So cloud cover's moving north. Oh, it looks like there's a baby sprinkle on here. It might be, that might actually be birds migrating. I'm serious. A lot of times there gets birds, when they start migrating, we start getting all this interference on the radar. This is rain, though, out in Sioux Falls and Fargo. So 66, 64 in St. Cloud, 63 in Wilmer. Temperatures are in the middle 60s. This is warm. We should be in the low 40s right now for this time of the year. So I shouldn't say supposed to be, because, yeah, I mean, every year in Minnesota is very, very different at this time of the year. 66 to 80, 81. Southeast winds at 10 to 15 miles per hour. We're going to go to the low 80s today. Winds are going to strengthen, though, as we go into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that should pop temperatures. Middle 80s in Marshall already by this afternoon. But what about rain chances? Rain chances stay pretty low. Sunday, Monday, we're talking about a 20% chance. This has got a 10% chance on Thursday. To me, they're just not high. And yesterday, they were higher. 2 days ago, they were even higher. And I always say, whenever you're in a dry period, it hasn't rained for about 2 weeks. Whenever it hasn't rained for a long time. So you got to break that trend. So you got to give me like a 100% chance for rain if I'm going to count on it. But it was 50%. I'm like, nah, cut it in half, and now here we are at 25%. It doesn't mean it won't rain. It just means that I think it's going to be underwhelming. So rain probably Sunday night to Monday, but it looks light. And here's why. So here's the low developing Saturday. Remember, the warmest day is the day before the cold front passes. That would mean Saturday's warmer than Friday. It should be, as long as it's sunny. Now, this is the setup here. Nice looking setup, but this is what I wait for, and this is why I don't go pushing the red button for washout rains until I believe in the forecast. So we had a disagreement yesterday. Was the low going to come across us, or was it going to move to the northeast? Because if it moves to the northeast, imagine the rain. Where's it going to go? Rain's going to go this way. Okay, it's going to miss you. If the path of the low is across you to the southeast, the rain would pull across you. Well, which one do we take? Yep, northeast. So it just means that the rain chances are less washout material, more hit or miss. So it does look like there's a chance of rain, few showers, light rain on Tuesday. So we'll see a few showers out there. Don't get me wrong. I do think it's going to rain. Just going to be about 1/4 of an inch from Sunday to Tuesday. And we'll see temperatures drop. I'm so excited for 60s next Tuesday.
All right, a couple situations to point out this morning. Good morning, 7:34. There's a crash here in Minneapolis, 94 westbound. This is near 35W. Right as you're driving toward the Laurie Hill Tunnel. So take a look here. You see a semi here. You see a vehicle kind of swerved off here on this shoulder area, and this vehicle is off in the grass here. This situation is not really impacting the commute in that area, but again, something to look out for on your left. Use caution in this area. Same thing in Richfield. We're seeing a motorcycle crash, it looks like, here on 494 westbound. This is right near Lyndale Avenue. We see fire crews and ambulance. Traffic definitely slowing as you make your way toward Edina, Highway 100 into the West Metro area. So because of the significant slowing in that area, say you're coming from Mendota Heights or near the airport, taking Highway 62 would get you where you need to go much faster than sticking on 494. I'll let you know when that situation clears up. But again, that's why we're seeing that slowing there along 494. Also seeing slowing going into downtown Minneapolis and St. Paul and between the Fridley and New Brighton area on 694 westbound there. Other than that, if we look through the loop, we're seeing some slowing on Highway 36 in the Roseville area, Highway 62 in Edina between Edina and Richfield, but going eastbound. So again, if you're going westbound, Highway 62 is okay for getting around that crash. If we do south of 494, we're seeing slowing on 169 northbound in Bloomington across the Bloomington Ferry Bridge because there was a crash in that area and a backup ran long because of that. So you could definitely hop on Highway 13 or off highway to get around that slowing. And again, if you're coming in from the Rogers area, we're always seeing slowing coming in from Maple Grove during this time frame. So take a look at this map. This is what you'll run into heading out the door. Add a few minutes wherever you go. All right, Cece, thank you so much. Well, we are live in Washington, D.C. this morning tracking breaking news from overnight. The federal government officially shut down after lawmakers missed a funding deadline. We do have a lot to get to as we track how this impacts you.
We have team coverage. Audrey Russo's at MSP with a look at travel impacts and other impacts. But first, Michelle Beck is at the live desk tracking the overnight developments.
The countdown is on for when the government will reopen. The Senate Majority Leader says there is a chance today, but another senior GOP senator expects the shutdown to last until at least next week. It all stems from Congress failing to pass a bill to keep federal dollars flowing. Democrats were holding out on their votes, wanting to restore health care cuts and extend Obamacare subsidies. Meanwhile, Republicans didn't budge on negotiations. They need at least 7 Senate Democrats to vote with them.
Fix health care premiums and spare Americans the calamity of skyrocketing through the roof health care costs.
It's just unnecessary. So it's time to end this and release the hostage. Let's get back to work, and I think we can make some significant headway on doing appropriations work, and then we can have that conversation on some of the other issues they want to talk about.
Yeah, and I've been watching this all morning long. Wall Street is set to open lower as investors assess the impact of the government shutdown. Experts believe this shutdown will be different from ones in the past, with investors concerned about the slowing job market and inflation risks. Back to you.
Many essential services will continue in a government shutdown, but hundreds of thousands of employees will likely be furloughed.
So others going to work this morning may have their pay delayed. Audrey Russo's at MSP Airport keeping tabs on travel and other impacts.
Yeah, we see workers here this morning. You can see the TSA line behind me. Workers are checking in, folks, getting them ready for their flight. And we reached out to MSP reps who tell us that essential workers like air traffic controllers, TSA employees, they will continue to report to work in theory. Now, these are workers who would continue to do their jobs without pay, which means sick calls and unexpected absences could lead to lags at security checkpoints like this one if the shutdown lingers. Now, other parts of the government could also grind to a halt. The CDC says access to health information will be limited. The FDA won't accept new drug applications. And according to the State Department, almost 17,000 employees could be furloughed. And back out here live at the airport, it's not just airports and air travel that could see delays and issues. According to reporting from the New York Times, 23% of the Department of Transportation will be furloughed, and that's on top of the 55% of that agency expected to work without pay. Back to you.
Well, developing this morning, President Trump says he's taking steps to lower drug costs in the U.S. Yesterday, he announced his administration reached a deal with Pfizer for it to voluntarily sell its drugs at lower prices to avoid Medicaid patients. As part of the deal, Pfizer will sell some of its drugs directly to consumers on a new government-run website called TrumpRx. It's still not clear how exactly that website will work, though.
A heads up for drivers this morning. Today's the first day the city of Minneapolis has its new speed cameras up and running. Take a look at this map. Here's where the 5 locations are. The cameras are located in all 5 of those locations, including 3rd Street near 1st Avenue and Nicollet Avenue near 46th Street. Now, these are areas the city says has had issues with speeding and are within 2,000 feet of a school. Here's how it works. For the first month, only warnings will be issued, but after that, a first violation will be a warning. Then it's a $40 ticket for driving 10 miles over, double that if you're driving more than 20 over. Violations will not go on a driver's record, and they will be able to contest the citations. This is just the beginning for the 4-year pilot program. More cameras will be coming next year.
An extremely disturbing case unfolding this morning in White Bear Lake. Police are investigating after an adult allegedly posed as a teenager to enroll as a student at White Bear Lake High School. The school district says the person is over the age of 21 and completed the enrollment process using a fraudulent document and a fake identity. The school officials say the person was taken into police custody and is no longer allowed on district property. Students say this person was a well-known figure at the school and even played on the football team. White Bear Lake police tell us they're still trying to figure out exactly how this happened, but they provided no details on the overall investigation.
The beloved boundary waters of northern Minnesota, they're revered for their beauty, but also for what we don't see. Deep underground are some of the richest untapped mineral deposits in the world. It's one of the reasons there are efforts underway right now by the Trump administration to reverse a Biden-era ban on mining near that area.
This week, we're embarking on a series of stories to mine for the truth on how that could impact our state. Chris Rapsky has more.
In Ely, some are singing an old song. It's called Not in Our Backyard.
Do we take that chance here? Is that okay? This is the fight of our lifetime.
But when that backyard contains one of the largest known deposits of copper, nickel, and cobalt in the world, others are playing a different tune.
This is the right mine for this region.
As the political winds shift, the possibility of hard rock mining near the Boundary Waters is back on the menu. 2 years ago, the Biden administration banned mining 250,000 acres outside the Boundary Waters. The Forest Service at the time said mining here would inevitably pollute the Boundary Waters. Mining experts disagree.
We're opening up mines in Minnesota.
And the Trump administration has vowed to reverse the ban and get America back underground. What are the odds that this is going to happen?
Highly likely.
And what's the time frame on it?
Soon.
Congressman Pete Stauber has introduced multiple times a bill to overturn the mining ban. There's no debate. The world needs these minerals to supply a modern economy. Anything with a wire, anything with a computer, anything with a battery is made with these metals. Currently, the U.S. relies on foreign sources for nearly half of the copper and more than half of the nickel and cobalt used in the country.
We have to use the facts and the science when we go forward and remove the political science.
Around summer, Ely is bustling.
Go Twin Cities!
But as mines closed over the decades, Ely's population dwindled, nearly half what it was in 1950.
There's a lot of seasonal jobs. It's hard for families to, exist on.
Dean DeBeltz, a fourth-generation Ely resident, is helping to lead Twin Metals Minnesota's quest for a new mine.
I realized I had an opportunity to help shape something that we need. I believe we desperately need in this town.
Inside Twin Metals headquarters, we see what this fight is all about.
What we have here is core that's cut, laid out on the table, and where it looks like gold, those are the sulfides.
Sulfide forms when sulfur atoms chemically bind to metal atoms, in this case, mostly copper and nickel.
So this one is 3,198 feet below surface.
And that is what Twin Metals is after.
We take the sulfides out, they go with the concentrates.
But the treasure is also the trouble. When sulfides are dug up and exposed to oxygen and water, they can turn into sulfuric acid. Any leak over time can be catastrophic to a clean environment. It is known as acid mine or acid rock drainage, something the Environmental Protection Agency estimates has polluted 40% of the country's rivers and 50% of the nation's lakes.
Is there a way to pull those minerals out without damaging the waterway?
Definitely, and we have to prove that through a thorough environmental review.
How would they do it? And just how close would a mine be to the Boundary Waters? Let's go to the map. Twin Metals' mine proposal from 2019 targets what's called the Machuri deposit here, located between Ely and Babbitt, 5 miles from the southwest edge of the Boundary Waters wilderness area. The project site right next to Birch Lake and the South Cowish River, which flows into the Boundary Waters. The site plan shows this is where they will dig underground, unlike open pit iron mines. Trucks would enter the mine through 2 tunnels, digging out different zones called stopes, which are like the hallways and rooms of an underground hotel. They will blast and recover ore between 400 and 4,500 feet underground. Twin Metals says that ore will be crushed below the surface to avoid dust and noise pollution, with a conveyor feeding that ore into a covered plant on the surface, where it is further processed and separated. The metal concentrates are stored for shipment. Half of the leftover rock goes back to fill in the holes. The other half would be dehydrated and stacked here on the surface.
What is the potential for acid rock drainage at the site?
In the studies that we've done and the studies that the DNR has done on Duluth complex material, it's virtually zero. I mean, it doesn't exist.
What does exist is the need for work and a small fortune of benefits for the state.
This is essentially a library of our mineral deposit.
Kathy Grawl, also with Twin Metals, Minnesota, says the mine would employ 750 people with 1,500 spin-off jobs in the area. Hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes, plus royalties to the state school trust fund.
It's estimated that the mineral resources that are in this region could add to that fund by $3 billion.
They hope the public will view the mine with an open mind.
We've got to be more open to conversation and talking about what it actually is rather than stigmatizing someone and saying, no, it's bad. No matter what you do, it's going to be bad, because that's not what we're about.
Great work by Chris there. So as you can imagine, for all the people we found supporting a new mine, we also found people that were dead set against it. We're going to hear from them tonight at 10 o'clock. All right, let's take you outside here at 7:46. The sun finally up here over downtown at Minneapolis, and that means the temperatures are going to start to skyrocket here, John. We're looking forward to, I'm not looking forward to it, but really, some people are looking forward to a hot few days here.
Yeah, it's very hard to, the only thing I assume, which I get in trouble, but I do it anyways, like I share my opinion, but I know people love the heat and I'm not sure about it, but nobody likes 40 below zero outside of like 1 in a million people. So we're good to talk trash about when it's 40 below. But snow, you can never talk bad about snow, ever. That's some of the most, well, first off, I've never done it, but some of the most hate mail I've seen from some past employees that worked under me. I was like, oh, you talk bad about snow. People are like, I love snow. How dare you? I was like, all right, cool. Now I know. Somebody loves this. Do I? Nah, I don't know. I'll be fine. I love the 50s and 60s and 70s that fall sometimes has. I don't like 30s, 40s at this time of the year in breezy conditions. I just want to golf and fish as long as possible. And then, once we get to November, fine. Just bring on winter. But for now, no, I like it warm. So there's the cloud coverage moving north. You can see Fargo over to Sioux Falls. There's rain. Wow. Most of our rain that you saw there is evaporating at the surface. 64 in St. Cloud, 66 in the Twin Cities, 50s up in Duluth. Very warm start for this time of the year. Going 66 to 81. Now the winds are going to start to crank up here as we go through the week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I've talked a lot about this. If you want to break records at this time of the year, you've got to crank in the winds. You're going to have to do it because you're not going to be able to do it with plain old sunshine because the sun is weak. It's October. It's not late June or July. So July, you want a day at 84 degrees and sunny, or 84. Let's just say you want a day at 84 in July. All you literally have to do is have high pressure, sunshine, calm winds. Great, 84. If I had that exact same setup here in October, high pressure, calm winds, and sunshine, it would probably be 67 degrees because it'd be around average. Maybe it'd be 70, 71, something like that. You've got to drive it in from somewhere. So again, southwest of us, it's still hot there. I lived in Missouri a long time. Missouri doesn't cool down until December. They're still in the 90s. So that's where we're bringing this air in from. Rain chances, boy, that looks weak. Next Wednesday, we've got a chance. Wednesday and a Thursday, we're watching that one. But I don't see a lot of rain. And it's a good thing because, I like to cheer for the farmers because at the end of the day, when I want rain, it's like, oh, I want my grass to grow. Like, whatever. They're trying to make money. No farmer wants rain right now during the harvest. Like, drought is good for this time of the year. And I used to think drought is always bad. That is not true. I have learned September and October doesn't matter. Drought is good. So what we're looking at here as we go into Saturday afternoon, this should be the warmest day because it's the day before the front passes. But if you look at the low has got to make a choice. Is it going to go across the Twin Cities or is it going to pull north? Why do I care about that? Well, if it pulls north, we won't get the low and we're going to get the cold front. Cold front rain, I've always told you, is puny rain. Well, that's the way it's forecasted to go. You see how the rain moves with the low and then we get left over with nothing? That's probably going to happen. Now, nothing in the way of rain, definitely dropping. We're going to drop from 89 to 66. That front means business, but it means a chance of rain, not a guaranteed threat of rain because of the way that low is moving to our north. So we'll continue to monitor that.
KARE 11 Plus Sunrise is brought to you by Home Furniture.
Right now at Home Furniture, it's the preferred customer event. Get up to an extra 15% off sale prices with instant factory rebates. Find savings throughout the showroom like this leather sofa, now just $12.69. Hurry in, the preferred customer event ends Monday at Home Furniture. the National Mattress Sale at Home Sleep Express. Get an extra 15% off sale prices on Luxuria and Thomas Cole Sleep. This Jewel Pillow Top Queen is $849, and this Invigorate Plush Queen is just $594. Only at Home Sleep Express.
Welcome back. Take a look at this. The Wolves and Wildlands exhibit has returned to the Como Park Zoo and Conservatory. The immersive exhibit shows the relationship between wolves and humans across North America. This exhibit is open now through January 4th in Como's exhibit gallery. Admission is free. Fat Bear Week 2025, the biggest heavyweight showdown of the year, is now over. And this morning, the verdict is in for the fattest bear. There he is, bear number 32, a.k.a. Chunk. Yeah, the Chunkster won the people's vote to become the new king of Brooks River. Chunk landed over 96,000 votes, beating his opponent Bear 856 by more than 32,000 votes. One could say he ate the competition. We'll be right back after the break.
Here's your KARE 11 local news update.
This morning, an investigation at White Bear Lake High School after an adult allegedly posed as a teenager and enrolled in the school. The district says the person is over the age of 21 and completed the enrollment process using fraudulent documents. The person was taken into police custody and is no longer allowed on district property. John's back with your forecast after this.